All right, welcome back to another episode of the Jay Stone Show at rockmetaltalk.com. Don't forget to check me out on granitecoastentertainment.com and maximumthreshold.net. That was Losing Control by SML8. I have Scott on the phone, so welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Pretty good.
Cool. So, you guys are relatively new to the show. I met you guys basically through Evan from Machines on Blast. We just played Losing Control. You got some new music that's coming out at the end of the year. Tell my audience a little bit about the band.
The band is based out of Central Florida. I'm in Daytona Beach myself, but we have members basically spanning the East Coast and Central Florida, kind of. But it's a blend of industrial, metal, and electronic. I do heavy, aggressive vocals. I sing some too, but I'm more, more angry, I guess, when I do vocals. But Adrienne is the female vocalist. She was classically trained, and she does more like, I want to say operatic, but not extreme high operatic, like more melodical stuff, and like basically adds a Beauty and Beast element to where I'm screaming, she's singing, and try to mix up a stuff in between there. Going back from electronic, some songs are just more straight, kind of 4/4-ish with the guitars, and then we have stuff that's more kind of like thrash, straight up metal for it too. So trying to blend the elements together between there and gives us a nice open like kind of world, so to speak, for playing shows and going out and doing stuff, because we can play. We played like art festivals and conventions, and then at the same time too, we can go and switch over and play metal shows. So it's nice to be have that versatility and to kind of go around different styles to see what we can do.
Right. No, it's definitely a good crossover. So you mentioned you were in Daytona. I guess the other guys are in Orlando. So when you're writing together and recording, are you sending tracks back and forth through the internet, or are you guys meeting up in the studio and just hammering the stuff out?
Well, we started with carrier pigeons, actually, with USB drives, but it was too much. I kept losing a bunch of pigeons, a bunch of USB drives, and it was real expensive. So then we switched over to the interwebs for it and started using Dropbox and stuff. I mean, it's weird how we work, because we go and meet up different times. Like, my guitar player will have a studio, so I'll go over there, or if I'm in Melbourne, I can meet with my singer, or Jacksonville, meet with my bass player. But mostly just send around ideas, bouncing back and forth and stuff. And whenever we try and set like a full band practice, and we'll just usually do that at my house in Daytona. I have a studio here. So.
Cool. How many members are in the band now, in the current lineup?
Well, right now we have 4. We've been playing without a live drummer for a while, so we have myself. I do keys and vocals, and Adrienne does the same, and then our guitar player Jace and bass player Mason. But we're looking to getting a drummer soon for our upcoming shows, and for after we release our next album, and planning on doing a lot more. Just for the past year, for stuff that we've done, we didn't have our previous drummer, so we just kind of winged it without, and we worked it out good too. Like, we can pull it off with or without a drummer, but it's always nice to have the extra element, especially when you're playing live shows. So we're looking back into get into a full 5-piece again.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good to, be able to program drums and, have that part perfect, but it's also good to have that live element as well. But
yeah, you get the
when you play live, do you find that people think that element of it's missing without the live drummer, or you don't think they mind at all?
I mean, I've heard both, but I don't really think. I mean, you can have a drummer on stage and still be pretty damn boring, or you can have a drum up there and have it extra. Like, it's not to sound bad for drummers, but they are kind of in the back of the stage. It adds that extra sound and stuff for it. But if you have 4 people up at the front of the stage kicking ass and taking names and doing what they need to and have good presence, then I think that's adds more, instead of just 3 people kind of standing there staring off into left field, and then you have a drummer rocking. So
right,
it's nice having like the full combined element of everything, but I don't really think it's affected us as far as playing shows. I mean, we had a show one time where we opened for Dog Fashion Disco last year, and it's me and Adrienne's like one of our favorite bands. but it so happened like so many people had to cancel for it, and so it was just me and Adrian, the singer, that basically did it. So we just brought some extra keyboards, set it up, and played the show. Brought some extra props. I think she ended up like bringing some girl up on stage and spanking her too. So it was a fun night, and we still made the best of it for it. So.
No, that's awesome because you don't have to worry about booking a full band and worrying about what dates this guy's available and meeting up and rehearsing. But I remember there was a band. I'm originally from New York. I'm in Tarpon Springs, Florida now. But there was a band that, played with a guitar player and a singer and a drum machine. And everybody, was like, how do you do this without a drummer? But I think they were a little ahead of their time. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but it definitely would make it easier to do shows and stuff like that. But, you want to have a live drummer. So I'm just always so used to working like that. But
yeah, it's nice. I mean, there's pros and cons for it. I mean, the pros are you have backing tracks and a drum machine, then your drummer's always on time. He doesn't drink your beer. He shows up right on time to practice. But there's also negatives too. So I mean, we're working for that, but we still try to, despite not having like if there's certain element that we can't reproduce live, we try not to let that affect us because we had that happen before and held off on shows for a few months, and it's like, all right, what the hell are we doing? We should just get up there and play anyways, regardless if there's a drummer or not. Like, keep the momentum going and pushing forward for that.
Cool. I have an industrial background as well, so when I was doing music coming up, that's always did industrial type stuff on the side. I always found it extremely difficult and time consuming to program drums. I mean, now it's a little easier because you can, get beats and paste it all together. What's your method like? Do you find it time consuming to create drum background tracks and stuff like that?
It's weird. I have like everyone else, I have a system. When I started doing stuff and learning how to engineer, and I wanted to start a project and cover different elements for it, I asked around, which is really the best thing you can kind of do nowadays is you have the internet, you have other people there at your disposal. And one of the best pieces of advice I got for how to learn to program drums is just learn the damn drums. So I got a drum kit, I learned how to play, I learned rhythms, and instead of sitting there trying to put like a kick drum on every other measure and the snare and have it sound like basic generic, dance industrial type stuff where it is just basically a drum machine, figured out some of those fills and rhythms and was able to actually, for now, be able to write and program drums from a drummer's mindset instead of from a keyboardist mindset or a guitar player's mindset.
I got you, yeah. So how long has the band actually been together? You have one CD currently out now, correct?
No, we have two. We've been together for about 6 years, I think now. We had our first CD, Surreality, come out in 2011, and then our last CD, Incept, came out in 2013. So yeah, we're not totally pulling a Tool aspect, but we're definitely due for a CD. So I'm glad that we have new music coming out soon.
I hear.
But we have two. We've done some remixes, done some collaborations and stuff like that in the meantime too, and done a lot of most bands do, just written a bunch of songs that never see the light of day, pretty much. But
yep, I know that feeling. So
yeah.
do you still put out a physical product, or do you kind of limit it to the digital age?
I still do a physical product because I always like doing that when I go to a show and I can actually buy the actual CD. I mean, I still drive around through CDs in my truck and stuff too, so I still always try to have a physical product available, but as well as doing the digital stuff too. And then nowadays it seems like it's a lot easier for people, so we have streaming and online, and gonna switch over after the CD. I'm gonna distribute everything on flash drives too, so for cheaper for people that want to get all of our music and cheaper cost for me instead of doing all that. But I think it's nice to have a physical product for having the actual designs. And I'm kind of one of those people that when I get a CD, I put it in, I look at all the liner notes and read everything for it and the graphics. And it's kind of like the packaging, it's the icing on the cake. You want to see, instead of just your download is complete, see what the artist put into their whole record for that as a whole.
Right. No, I agree absolutely. I love to have the CD. I'm a big fan of vinyl.